look at the C-suites, it is like the Rocky Mountains. The higher up you get, the whiter it is. I mean, we are like totally not seeing the kind of diversity reflected. And this is a younger, new kind of generation, billionaire and huge economy, but their policies in terms of decision-making and even contracts leave a lot to be desired.
I think your criticism is accurate. Silicon Valley only has, unfortunately, about a 3% African-American workforce. And even if we're doing better with partnerships with HBCUs, it's not translating into more African-Americans being part of IPOs and being part of the executive suites and being funded with venture capital. And we need to do far better as a country to provide these economic opportunities. It's not just a pipeline issue, Reverend Sharpton. You know that the talent is there, the ambition is there. It's a lack of networks and it's a lack of intentionality. And this is an issue I'm very passionate about and look forward to working on.
Now, in terms of criminal justice, you represent a state, come from a state that has had any number of police shootings and incidents. We really need to deal with that. We really need to deal with mass incarceration. You come from the lineage of those that fought these social issues in India, members of your family working with Mahatma Gandhi. We need a real transformation in this country on how we deal with justice.
Well, Reverend Sharpton, you're right, and we can't just have rhetorical transformation. We need a change in the law. One of the things I'm working on is a change in the standard of what force is allowed by police officers. Most other industrialized countries say that before you can use force, before you can shoot someone like Stephon Clark, who's unarmed in his grandmother's backyard, you have to exhaust all other options, and it has to be absolutely necessary. That's the standard in France, in UK, in Norway. We need to adopt that standard in the United States so that police are taught de-escalation techniques, so that they know that force is the absolute last resort and not something that can be done lightly. And I'm working with the NAACP and other groups to try to write that legislative change and then hope that a number of our presidential candidates will support it.
And you're working on this on a federal level in terms of the legislation?
Yes. As you know, there's legislation in California that's similar. But I think we need federal legislation that says, look, if you want funding, federal funding for police officers, and you want extra federal funding, then you need to adopt a standard that makes force the last resort, not the first resort. Not only is that going to help protect innocent lives and like Stephon Clark, or places where force was clearly disproportionate, I actually think it's going to help police officers around this country, because de-escalation and avoiding those kind of violent confrontations is going to lead to less violence. So this is a standard that is a human rights standard in almost every other country, and we need to adopt it here. We can't just say rhetorically we need change. We need actual substantive change in the law.